Hey, everyone. So I think it's just a few people today, so I'm going to unmute you in a moment. So again, if you're listening in today, just you can set up your microphone if you want to be asking questions. But again, I'm going to unmute you all in just a moment. And just give me one moment. Let's take unmute Allie. Give me just a moment. I don't know why it's not letting me. All right, so for some reason I can't unmute you, so I'm going to make you guys panelists, those who are on, and then you should be able to hear me.
Yeah.
Okay, Allie, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can. How are you?
Okay, great. Good. I'm going to make one more person a panelist. And then Beth, I have you on. Beth, can you hear me? All right, that was a little rough, Beth, you there? Not sure. I'm just going to make you... Beth, if you can call in through the phone and not on the computer, that might help.
Okay, I mean, yeah, I'm unmuted. I can go ahead and mute myself.
Okay, there you go. There you go. Now it's better. For some reason, it was coming in all weird, but that works out well. Okay, so if you guys don't mind, what I'm going to do is probably spend about just 5-10 minutes go through this and then be open to questions. Does that sound good for both of you?
Sounds good.
Yep, sounds good.
All right, and this is recorded, so if anybody needs to see this, we can also set it up. I have a bunch of recordings too of different, webinars. But
Great.
today I'm going to start with kind of the basics first, kind of what is Poynt out of the box, and then we'll dive into a little bit more about the third-party apps and some of the other functionality that's coming out. It is either out now or coming out in the future, and we'll also cover the new software packages, talking about basic, advanced, and premium. How basically, again, what do you get with Poynt out of the box, and then what can you subscribe to, when it comes to additional features. And just kind of here's a quick little overview for you as well. We will talk about Poynt HQ again, the front end experience. What does it look like on the terminal, as well as what does it look like on the back end for your customer. So ultimately, in our channel, we're selling the Poynt dual screen, as you know, in the Poynt 5. All Wi-Fi capability, all have Wi-Fi capabilities, EMV, chip pin, NFC, Android Pay, Apple Pay. So it's kind of the all-in-one, terminal. The P16 on the left side, that has a printer embedded in it, and you can also use an Ethernet to the docking station. They both stay charged. The newer terminals stay charged for about 8 hours if they're being consecutively used. And then there are some battery packs and these additional sleeves for the Poynt 5 if you want to use those. And so the Poynt 5 on the right side, that is really a handheld. It's one screen. It's not a dual screen. But there are these accessories that you'll see where basically you can extend the battery life, or you can plug in a printer. Obviously great for micro merchants, any kind of merchant that is not maybe countertop. I think the dual screen is better for a countertop merchant, a merchant that is, doing tip adjustment, has additional fees, discounts, things like that. And then you have, the Poynt 5, the handheld, which is more for a contractor on the go, farmer's market, just kind of a great versatile option for the, basically for the small business. And then you can attach different peripherals, different pieces of hardware. Some are pretty common. You'll see here like the Epsons and the Stars, cash drawers or kitchen printers, receipt printers. So even though the dual screen Poynt terminal comes with a printer embedded, you have the ability to add a kitchen printer or receipt printer in a fast-paced environment or an environment that you need more. And I have a link back here, and I'll make sure you guys get this deck as well. Every merchant gets access to Poynt HQ. And Poynt HQ is basically where you can, once you have a terminal, you'll get emailed your login credentials. You go in there and you'll see really everything you need to see from an administrative standpoint, all your sales reports, really easy to customize by day, week, month. You can do it by rep, even if there's the Poynt terminal allows it to have the basic has 5 users where you can go in there and you can put in your PIN and you can track sales by user, track tips by user. You can do your batch outs, your settlements. You can actually buy more paper on here. But there's a lot of different things you can do, obviously, with Poynt HQ, and every merchant does have access to Poynt HQ if they buy a Poynt terminal. Another great feature is you're able to manage each store from Poynt HQ, manage basically if you have multi-terminals or if you have multi-location, you can manage your terminal users, your web users, manage basically the simple profile. What do the receipts look like? What does the actual front screen look like for your customers? Everything is in Poynt HQ, again, under the business tab on the top. And then what you'll also see is the ability to create your catalog. So what I like about Poynt is you don't have to use your fingers to create on the actual terminal itself. You can basically create it right there online, and then you can do an upload with a CSV file. There's a template for restaurant, template for retail, if you want to basically upload all of your items really fast and then not have to do, again, manual entry for each one. But it is pretty great that it makes it super simple for the user to build their catalog without having to do it all on the actual terminal. So then that was Poynt HQ, which again every merchant gets access to online, but there is also Poynt HQ Mobile, which they get access to on their mobile device. So it's going to be the same reflection of Poynt HQ, but they have the ability to kind of just see everything from their iPhone or their Android, and get actual live notifications, see live sales, so kind of monitor their business away from home. But you'll have all the same tabs, all the same features, again, just a little bit more mobile optimized. And then I think one of the great things I love about the mobile app is you can actually do a keyed in transaction. So credit card not present, you can key in the credit card information. So maybe if I have a terminal at my store, but I'm like taking a catering order, it's kind of a virtual terminal. I don't have to, basically go to the store or plug that in. I can do that right from my mobile device. So let's talk about the software bundles. These are primarily new. You kind of, when you first got Poynt, you kind of just got what, again, everything that came with it, but now we've kind of just, divvied up the features. Now there's more advanced features to the different software packages. So again, Poynt right out of the box, no additional fees to the reseller, no additional fees to the merchant. Again, you own the relationship with your merchant, but there's 5 users, 5 device users. There's 75 items you can have in the register. And you can still get access to the third-party apps. You can still basically use your phone and your web to manage your business, digital receipts, SMS, email, and all your reports, basic. So I say basic is just a great register for small businesses, little cafes, someone who needs Poynt but doesn't actually need to use a lot of the versatile, features. When you start getting to the advanced, which is an additional $14.99 a month, the merchant pays that to upgrade. There's the virtual terminal, which is online too, so you can actually have a virtual terminal. There's the ability to do QuickBooks online integration, which is obviously great. It's for QuickBooks Online only, not QuickBooks Desktop. There's logo on digital receipts, so basically when they print a receipt, you can do a little bit more design, for your customer loyalty. Customer feedback and messaging. If your customer replies to an email or an SMS receipt, you can actually have a conversation with your customer, which is pretty great. And then the advanced registers, you can now get up to 575 items and up to 15 users. So a little bit more, obviously advanced and basic. And then the premium is where I think the big pieces for the premium that obviously are added on is unlimited device users, integrated invoicing, and then one-step loyalty. So loyalty, we'll talk a little bit more about, but the ability to actually track customer spend and then build campaigns based off the emails that you're collecting and the actual customer spend altogether. I'd say a few more things that are coming out that are very helpful for the premium is there's going to be a surcharge application that's going to be coming out shortly. And I believe that there is also a little bit more inventory management that's going to be coming out, and it's already kind of out. You can trial it where up in, in the basic and advanced, you can see how many items you sold, but not how many items you have left. So a little bit more stock management. And that's going to be super helpful for, again, for kind of upselling. But the digital receipts, just want to show what that looks like. So you can actually customize those receipts. And then if you print a receipt, you'll have your logo and you'll have your, the ability to have a little bit more about your business, which obviously, hopefully, drives a little bit more, brand loyalty. And then the virtual terminal, as you can see online or on your phone, you can basically just go to virtual terminal when you're in your business settings. And then on the bottom right, you press more and you'll be able to key in the credit card information. You can also do invoicing with the premium package. So invoicing is basically you go into your HQ and you can email an invoice with a memo to any, basically you can send it to any email, I should say, and then your customer can go on and pay the invoice via their email real easily online. That will all result, that will all come back to the Poynt HQ. Everything's recorded. Obviously, it's recorded as an invoice, but really seamless and easy to do, and a great feature that you can enable. And then let me see here. Give me 1 second. And then the loyalty feature. What's nice about this is, again, you can set your loyalty. If you come in, you spend $100, you get a free sandwich or a free drink, or maybe you get $5 reward. Whatever it is, you can set it up as the merchant. The true benefit here is that you have the ability to actually track through just their credit card. So, Ali, if you came to my cafe every single day, before you even signed up, you could sign up on the 10th visit, and I could be like, hey, Ali, you've actually spent, with your credit card, you've spent around $200 here. Here's your reward. So it does all the tracking on the back end, and what's nice is you can do a export of the customer emails and phone numbers if you want to. If you're using like a Constant Contact or MailChimp. The next phase of this feature is they're going to have templates. You can do email campaigns right from Poynt HQ. Right now, again, it's more just recording information about your customers and tracking customer spend. But it's all built into the system, which is great.
Very cool.
And the QuickBooks integration is really straightforward. You basically just log into your QuickBooks online, and then it does the batch out. It'll push over the information when you settle and when you do your batch. But there's really not much more work to it than that. So again, all you do is go to Poynt HQ. You click on the QuickBooks integration. You log in with your credentials, and then that integration is pretty seamless. So going over a few of the apps that have been very helpful. Maybe not every single one, but we'll go over kind of a majority of them. Just to talk about the third-party apps really quickly. Again, the customer, your merchant, they put in the credit card information, and they are able to, download these apps and pay the, Poynt, I guess you could say, directly for the applications. So I kind of listed out, here are the retail restaurant POS on the left. I have no problem being biased when working with good companies and which companies are responsive. And I think eHopper and Talik are probably the best POS applications for restaurant and retail. They seem to be handling a lot of different verticals. Talik was just actually acquired by US Bank, and eHopper is a private company in New York City. And I've seen a lot of groups work with eHopper beyond Poynt, just using their, they have an HP hardware, ELO hardware. Great versatile solution for a little bit more of an advanced retail. Talik is really good for, full service restaurant, order ahead capabilities, a little bit more food and beverage focus, but both great. I'll talk a little bit about Manglement, which is a salon app. It's kind of a replacement for MindBody. It does really well. It's expensive. It's like $100 a month, but anyone who's in the MindBody world is typically paying $150 to $175 a month for an online integrated scheduler with all these different features that basically track your inventory, all of your staff. So we can talk more about that, but Manglement, again, great replacement for MindBody. There's a bunch of business applications. True Rating gives you basically, you can set up, so you collect customer feedback at the end of every sale. Homebase, everyone's very familiar with. It basically does customer tracking and, customer scheduling and the ability to change your schedule online as a, employee or, share your shift with someone. True Rating and Homebase are actually free for the first location, and you can always upgrade to enterprise features, but most of it's free. There's a kitchen display application, kind of like a bump screen. And then I think, there's a few more that, I'd say Factor 4 gift cards is great. You have the ability to do gift cards, cash and tips if you want to do, like, I'm starting my register with $200 today in cash. I want to be giving up tips at the end of each shift. It's a great kind of add-on feature. And then we'll go into a few more, a little bit more in detail, but as you see, we just talked about cash and tips. Just a great way if you have cash in the register and you want to understand what that looks like, you have the ability to do that through here. Give me 1 second. Yes, and then Poynt does build the merchants for the third-party apps. So the merchant customer, they'll put in their credit card information and they'll be able to they'll be able to upgrade either to the different software packages or buy a third-party app. I think, in my mind, if the merchant wants it for more, between us, if the merchant wants a little bit more sophisticated software, I would have them just upgrade to a POS like eHopper, just because it's a little bit more established as a POS. Where like Poynt's a great basic terminal, it's a great replacement for credit card terminals. It's a great way to help your merchant migrate away from the old brick terminals, but not a full replacement for like a Clover station, right? So that's where I would kind of start looking at the different software options, because truthfully, eHopper, Tally, they have a really great feature set that can really help you, not just from a loyalty perspective, but from an ROI perspective, help the businesses really grow altogether. And then the kitchen display app is really simple. You basically can use any screen that can pull a web address, and you have kind of a bump screen kitchen display app, which is awesome. Manglement is this is the one I was talking about. It's down to $99 a month for our channel with basically online scheduling, all integrated. So you can go on the website, you basically click schedule your hair appointment, your whether it be any kind of health and beauty appointment, you can click your specialist. You can go on the Poynt terminal. Everyone can see their schedule of who the different customers are, start building a good customer loyalty list. Kind of an all-inclusive program, but really great payroll calculations, powerful reporting for your 1099 contractors versus your actual staff at your salon. So just kind of an all-in-one good replacement for, again, MindBody, which a lot of people can't really compete with. They're not very, MindBody kind of has a huge stake in the salon business world. And then AppTigers makes it order ahead capabilities really easy. So you have the ability to make it, so the customers can order whatever they want ahead of actually arriving at the location. And then they have more, enterprise options where they can actually white label an application for you if you want to go down that route. And there's a lot of different, obviously, options for bigger, stronger multi-location groups that, are looking to do a little bit more versatile on order ahead kind of line buster capabilities. So sorry, the screen's a little congested here, but that's just kind of my fast overview. Now happy to just kind of take some questions or go in depth on anything else that I can help with.
No, this is really helpful. I recently, actually, it was on Friday that I received an email from one of our sales partners that had sold Poynt, and it sounds like I know with that that you added on these 3 new the software charges. So let me ask you. So how it works is if somebody was previously on it, it says that they're now charging them $39 a month. Does that make sense? Is that something that? Yeah, so I guess if they're charging.
I will be I will be honest, it wasn't they were not very great with the communication piece
Right.
when it came to the resellers, and I've tried my best to be kind of an ambassador for them and say like, look, let's just figure out what's happening and get that communication out to our resellers as much as possible. Due to obviously us getting the right contacts, or us, especially with your organization, we've talked to different people, we lost that contact, we have new contacts. You might have missed some of it in August. But altogether, kind of a timeline of what happened was they wanted to introduce these new features and these new packages, and we fought, very heavily is don't change the pricing for basic, because that's just going to frustrate everybody. If we go back, we have to go backwards and say, hey, you now pay more. But they said, okay, but we won't do that. And so we won that fight, which is great. But then they said, but we want to charge for these other packages, and we'll send a notice to everybody through HQ and let them know that you can downgrade back to basic, but if you're using these features today, you're going to start paying this 30 days from now. And that notice went out about probably the end of August. And so they told all the merchants, you basically have 2 months free of this feature going forward, but you will be paying this fee going forward if you don't downgrade to basic. So that's kind of the true timeline of what happened. And now we're kind of past that. Everyone who's existing going into August, they're now all starting to either pay this or they can downgrade the basic in their HQ. Luckily, we didn't get a lot of frustrating merchants. We had some that were pissed off because they were using like invoicing and they were using recurring payments, but they weren't.
Where I was going to say that's what he's using. He said something about invoicing, and now he's furious because he doesn't understand why, why he can't continue how he was going.
Yeah, and so my whole thing is this, like, I've tried to, again, work with every party to understand, where can we help out and where can we be effective. We tried to grandfather some of the merchants in who, any merchant that reached out was really pissed off. We've tried to grandfather them in. So if this is a case that we can just look, if every single merchant at your organization reached out pissed off, then we need to have a bigger discussion. If you have one or two that's just super pissed off, maybe just shoot me a note and we can maybe look into kind of grandfathering a few in, as long as we're just not, doing it for every single one.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. So I could find out. You know what? He didn't even tell me which merchant he's talking about. He just, sent me an email on Friday.
Yeah, for sure.
At 10
it was
o'clock.
frustrating. And we just, exactly. And we were just trying to play at that middle ground of just being able to, be positive for Poynt, but also we understood what they were doing was kind of frustrating for the resellers. So it's kind of, I can't play two-faced and try to push people away, but I was just trying to find a way to make it a good transition. And again, truthfully, luckily, it actually didn't blow up as much as I thought it would. And I think that's because, again, we saved basic being the same price, and just kind of did as much education as possible up front that if they're using these features, they're going to have to pay for them. And surprisingly, a good amount of merchants just started paying for them. They're which was, I don't know. I found that surprising. I thought it was going to be absolute chaos. But a lot of them just kind of switched down to basic, and they realized maybe I don't need 15 users on my device. Maybe I'll just have a few, if a few members can share a user device, I don't have to deal with it, right? But multi-mid is also on basic now too. And we fought for that to stay there just because a lot of the different applications that incorporated multi-mid. So that's actually a pretty good selling point for Poynt over some of the other smart terminals is multi-mid is still in the basic software. Of course, you're paying per mid, but you're not paying for an additional software to utilize it.
Right. Okay. Now, as far as the different packages that they choose from, so this isn't in an application. It's not in an actual paper application, right? This is just they decide once they get the Poynt device and then they download it, or is it already in?
No, it's a good question. So they're going to get to the Poynt device, and they're going to have all the capabilities of basic day one from the Poynt hardware and Poynt HQ online.
Okay.
Within Poynt HQ, though, they have the ability to go to subscriptions, and they have the ability to upgrade to these packages.
Okay.
So it's not too so I tell everybody sell basic, right? Sell basic of what it is. Go out there and convert, credit card terminals with Poynt, because there's still a lot of value in basic for the price you're getting.
Right.
But then as your merchant starts asking questions about recurring payments and invoicing and inventory management, you have a few options, bring up maybe some of the other POS, or even say, hey, you can upgrade on the Poynt terminal, or there's some other POS applications I'd be happy to set up a demo for, right?
Right.
So I think it's just kind of positioning that script all around, kind of what you're going after, but that's very common.
Okay. All right, cool.
Any other questions or anything else I can help with today? Tomorrow, I'm actually going to have a webinar at 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm not sure if you registered for that, but that one is going to be about Poynt Capital. So Poynt basically wants to do this now, once they get going, now they get going, right? So Poynt in our agreement, they cannot poach your merchants for processing ever, right?
Right.
That's in the reseller agreement. But they can add additional programs. So they brought this idea to me of Poynt Capital. What they want to do is, like Square, you're going to see, hey, Allie, you're pre-approved for a $10,000 loan in your business based on your processing. And then at one click, basically, Allie, you can sign up for a $10,000 advance payment or a loan, right? And the idea, though, is to actually give you guys rev share on that and make it really seamless for your customers to get capital.
See, I don't know if that will, I don't know if that will conflict, though, because, we also offer cash advance.
100%. So this is where, again, I was just going to say, there's this gray area on, is this conflicting with, your existing portfolio? I do think there's a positive outtake. I think one of the positive things about it is it's a pretty seamless experience for you to get capital to your merchant and actually receive a split on it, and kind of using a platform. But I also told Poynt in the meeting I just had, and why I'm excited to kind of have this webinar tomorrow to hear people's feedback, I said, we should also be very thoughtful that these are their merchants. And as much as we share a merchant at the end of the day, yes, but we shouldn't be hindering them with too much communication around this. And if you guys decide to do that, we should at least get communications to resellers so they can give their their customers a heads up. Just, hey, you might see on HQ there's a Poynt Capital button. Feel free to ignore that, or let us know if you want to talk to Capital. If anything, maybe it's even an opportunity to bring up another discussion with your customer, right? Around Capital.
Right.
So,
right.
like anything, I don't feel like they're working against us, but as you can imagine, you've been in this industry. It just feels like sometimes, like,
Yeah, no, of
when you're a
course.
reseller, it's like they're always working against you. But I was like, I told them, like, look, I do think we can frame this positive. I think there are some positive outcomes here. I said there's two opportunities. Someone like your position, you either, hey Poynt, I actually want to get involved. Let's do a split. I do like the idea that you can pre-approve loans because you have the data and you guys can hold the capital, and I don't really have much risk other than just you guys kind of advertising to my customers. And then the other one is, okay, Poynt's going to do this, right? They're going to have a Poynt Capital button in HQ. Might be a good opportunity for me just to email my clients and be like, hey guys, let me know if you're interested in this. Either way, I have another great capital program for you, and even kind of give you another reason just to kind of poke your merchants and let them know that there's some options for capital.
Right. Okay.
So that's what I'll explain tomorrow, but they're going to go more into detail tomorrow. So it might be good to have someone from your team listening if interested.
Absolutely. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to actually invite a couple of people.
Okay. Do you have the registration link for that?
I believe I actually did sign up for it. I just want to see something.
Let me see if I can get it over to you too, just so you have it. I'll put it in the chat right now. Give me 1 second. And there it is. You just send them that link, and then they can basically register for the morning or the afternoon.
Okay, great. So you said it was at, I actually think I'm on 11 o'clock tomorrow Eastern Standard Time. So you said it's at 8 o'clock, 8 a.m. PST.
So East Coast.
Yep.
Yeah, so East Coast is going to be at 11 a.m. and 5 p.m.
Okay, cool.
And then I'll record it too, and I'll send out the deck, and I'll have the recording in our Sales Hub, next day. So just in case you miss it, I'll have it there.
Sounds good. Perfect.
And then will your team be at Money 2020 this year?
You know what? I'm not going to be. I don't know. I'm not sure if anyone's going. When is that again?
It's next week. I'll be there. So I was just saying if anybody wants to chat then too.
Yeah, that would
more
be
heads
great.
up.
Yeah, let me find out. I'm sure somebody. I'm not sure if anyone on the tech side or if any of our executive management's going to be there, but I'll find out.
Yeah. Okay. No worries. Yeah. Just let me know, and I'd love to just say hi if I can do anything to help.
Okay, great. Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me know if you need anything, and hopefully we'll get you guys on that webinar tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, sounds great. Have a good night.
All right. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.